What's going on, my beautiful friends? It's Josh again, and today we're going to talk about the top stocks for August. And I'm going to do that by covering the first week of what's going to be happening here. You're going to have 2 days of July and what's coming on in earnings, and give you guys an idea of what companies could stick out. Now, I will say this actually, before I get into that disclaimer, let me tell you guys this too. For the people in the free course, if you're not aware, this is how you access the chat room. You go to the introduction, you go here, and there's a link right here. It'll say simply just click here. You click there, you'll get into the course. And also, if you're not in the course yet, go click the link in the description here to this video and you could sign up. It's a free course. And what I'm even going to do is if you guys have any questions on any of these plays, bring them to the chat and I'll even consider doing a webinar to go over. But I guess that'll bring me to my disclaimer here. When I give you guys these plays and go over them, understand I'm just going to go through these quickly, give you guys some ideas, share my quick thoughts on these companies, but I want you guys to do this so you could paper trade them and get a hang of it. Honestly, if you're just going to listen to a guy on YouTube who doesn't show his face, you have no idea who he is, and you think he's smart or you think he's dumb and you just want to make money and you're going to throw your real money at it, yeah, it doesn't really seem like that great of a strategy, but so be careful. I'm giving you these with a grain of salt, and why I'm even saying that too, because there is going to be some plays, like I have a few great earning plays I think are going to be, like, I've already looked at the chains and they're going to be awesome, and I think I might share them with you. Maybe we'll see if this gets like what? We'll say 100 likes on this video. I'll drop those plays for you, but I don't even want to play it like that. But in general, what I'm telling you is that some plays might be there and they might be potential set up to move a lot. However, that might not be reflected in the options chain in your favor, meaning it could be pricing in a big move already. And even worse, you could be buying at a premium. So if you do see any of these plays that stick out to you, I want you to look at them. I want you to potentially find paper trades. If you're in the course, bring them to the chat and I'll gladly look over for you and I'll let you guys know in the chat. And hopefully you guys find me something that I missed and I didn't see. So starting with this, we're going to start with Monday today. What's going to happen? What's going to come out? And I'm just going to go usually. So it sucks because maybe I will start. The other ones I'm going to do alphabetical, but in this case, since by the time this comes out, you're not even going to get to play any of these before earnings. Let's start with the ones that release at close. So Fang, no, I don't care about them. Eyes, I own some shares. I don't like this. FMI, I think they got bought out. As you could just tell by the chart right there when you see a chart like that that doesn't move. Let's see. I'm gonna try to go not too slow, but not too fast. Papa John's. That's definitely. I don't know how the chain is going to be. They've dropped a lot. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Possibly they go up since they got beat down from the whole fiasco. Isn't it weird? Papa John's is suing Papa John. I thought that was funny, but it's going to be interesting. I haven't looked at the chain, but that will be something that could potentially move. CGNX, I know this company. This one sticks out. They could be interesting. They used to move, and I'll show you. This isn't the ones that used to move. I'm going to find a better play for you guys or a better company that you could understand what I'm saying. RGLS, that's just dog shit. I do like the pharmas though, and there is some pharmas I think on Wednesday that are interesting. Illumina. This is a pharma. You could tell by their history over the last couple years, and this is stuff I like to see. You see, look at 2016, 17, and this is where my experience comes into play. This was a gapper. This would have crazy earnings moves. This wasn't for nothing. And then it kind of chilled out. So this could be something that's set up to move. The only thing that kind of sucks, it did have that big drop. But again, this is what I like to see. It hasn't had a gap up in a year. It's been fairly solid, smaller gap ups and that makes sense too because the price has increased, but they're one that they're already a drug company. They're already profitable, but their business and profitability and their licensing and stuff changes. So take a look at those option chains. Let me know what you think. And this is how we're going to benefit each other. I'll tell you the companies I like. You guys go through the options chain. Tell me what you notice. SunPower. I don't know if First Solar reported their cheap one, and maybe a sympathy through this could be First Solar. But they're going to be interesting. I'm kind of hesitant to say this one, but I actually kind of like them. Rent-A-Center, I think they got bought out, I believe. Yeah, they got bought out. But that used to be a good one. Rhombus, Atento, Forum Energy. And again, E-Trade's earnings might be missing some. So I could be wrong here. You know, there might be some companies. Zag, I think Zag is the game maker. They're pretty good, but anything, the ones that usually once you get here, they kind of suck. There's Logitech. I know people have talked about them and with stuff in headsets and Fortnite and Turtle Beach. I'm not a fan. So those are the ones I got for Monday. Let's see, Tuesday, it's going to be a lot more of an active day. And now I'm going to go alphabetically so you could set up what you guys got. Apple, that's the first one. I like Apple a lot. I think it's going to be a great earnings play. You know, it's going to be in there. And again, they haven't had a gapper too long ago, but except for even that last earnings. But I think it's going to be good. But the options are already up from, I don't know how it's going to be coming in from Monday. But as of Friday, calls and puts are up about 100%. You know, they're starting to get that premium juice. If you go look at that video, how to make money fast trading options, you know, I talk about that juice coming into earnings. So watch out for that. And Baidu, that's going to be a good one. Baidu in general, and even then, just seeing this, it's kind of been holding a range. It might just be waiting for that. We're going to see how some of the tariffs report and how they affect that. But China hasn't even gotten hit with any, you know, we haven't really gotten any Chinese companies reporting. So even then, another way you could even play this, go look at JD and YY, and those could have a similar effect. But this is going to be a good one. They haven't gapped up at all. Actually, this is a 3-year chart. They've just been doing these moves. So this one might even be better if there's too much premium juice. You might want to play it after. This was that big Baidu move in 15. I remember playing that. But you might want to wait till after earnings on this one. But take a look if there's good options. It could be good, you know. But again, it's in this range. So you kind of want to be able to get it when it either breaks out of it or when it goes up. Bluebird Pharmaceuticals, another one of these pharmaceuticals I like, hasn't moved a lot. Not too many gappers lately, but again, anything starts to hit this downtrend. This one has inflated a lot since, you know, over the last year. This is a $40 stock. Now it's at 162. I think if the puts are cheap enough, this could just be a great risk reward play without looking at anything else. You know, I'm saying that blindly. So again, take that with a grain of salt. But hopefully you guys could understand my logic here with some of these plays where look out below, you're seeing if you could get a $20 put, a $30 put, especially with time, the odds are going to be in your favor. And then one of the events, it does collapse and something happens. Where else we got? What else? Cheesecake Factory. This one, I have a love-hate relationship with Cheesecake Factory. It can gap. It is in the restaurant industry, and that's an interesting industry. It has the potential to move, but a lot of times this won't do anything. So look at the options. Let me know, but be careful of this one. You know, I love Cheesecake Factory outside of the stock market, so I'll leave it at that. Glue Mobile, these are the video game makers. Again, they've already been having a downtrend. They're kind of up. The options could be cheap. I don't really know if they move. Again, this is the 3-year. They really would have some activity when they're doing bad. This one's just a real toss-up. But why I want to put this up, I know it's an interesting company. It'll get notoriety to a degree depending on the report. But what I do want to say is when you're playing these $5 to $10 companies, you got to be careful with the options because when there's a premium juice with these cheaper stocks, you're really paying a lot more money. You know, if you're going to pay even $10, $20 for a contract on a $5 stock, when you could go get that on a $200 stock, you know, even look at that Facebook play $60. You got to be careful with stuff like that. Groupon, I know did they get a buyout offer? I think they got a buyout offer. They're really up and down, but again, same issue with the $4 stock. But I would watch that one. I would look through their chain, see what they got going on. Insight, they got fucked, but they've been, you know, take a look at them. I'll say something quickly. I don't really have much thoughts on them. Lumber Liquidators too. I like them. I think they're still beaten down after everything. $23. They might be able to surprise and make their way up, especially with home building and all that stuff. They kind of have the downtrend, but again, this was like a $80, $100 stock at one point, so it has a lot of upside. And yeah, I'd be more playing the upside long term on that one. Mindbody, they're just weird. look for the upside on there or even a move down. They've been going up a lot, but they could potentially move a lot. Ralph Lauren, this could be a potential mover. They're in the morning, but they've had their gaps, and actually they gapped recently. They've just been showing gaps. They're in the retail, and I think other retails have been struggling. They've been doing good, so either they could trail behind or they could lead the way. But sometimes, it's a big mover, and you could probably find some cheap options on this one. So I think that'd be an interesting one to take a look at. Shopify, I would definitely look at these if they surprise. They've just been going up. They haven't had a gap up yet in 3 years. They've been kind of steady growth. So if they come in with extreme growth, and you could double check this by going and seeing on Nasdaq what the expectations are, and go even look at the 10Q, 10Q, 10K, all that, and see kind of what people are expecting. But I would look at Shopify for sure. Longer term options on there. Shire, I think they surprised last time. Yeah, they had a crazy surprise last time. It was a big, big move. I didn't expect it to happen, so maybe it could do it again. But usually, sometimes it could cool off, as you see. Been dying, but it hasn't really had a history of moving too much off their earnings. Square is one that usually can move. They've just been going up. Again, you don't see a history gap in anything going straight up. Again, you might have a risk reward on the downside. Time Warner, even though it has the buyout, it's not really a fan. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it for there. Let's go to Wednesday. And so we're pretty much going to have 2 more days. We're not really going to even look at Friday. Century Aluminum. This is related to China, commodities in general, what's going on. Oh, man, I'm going to have to go back to this one so I could show you guys the chart quickly. But CENX, Century Aluminum, again, they're going to be related to the international China, stuff like that. You see they've been downtrending a lot, going down. So if we see a report that it's got bad, it could surprise, but again, doesn't really have a history of gaps. And that's kind of what you were looking for if you couldn't tell. Chesapeake Energy, that was the energy one I wanted. And I might even look on the call side if energy's been doing good. They're really, really undervalued, even intrinsically. This is a value play like Warren Buffett style when you go look at their books and see what they got. Clovis, that was the next one I had. They've been dropping, so I'd even go to Biopharm Catalyst and see how they've reported and see when their dates for other stuff is coming out, because that'd definitely be something I would want to look at. Dexcom, I like them. They usually kill it on earnings, surprisingly. They've gone up and, very, very drastic. You could even just tell by the chart. So again, cheap options, you might want to take advantage of those. IRI, I don't know how they've moved lately. I think they did good recently, but this could surprise. It's not really likely going to move, but it could surprise. I would keep an eye out on them. Their cybersecurity, they do pretty good. Fitbit, I would definitely look at. It's just so cheap right now. It's so cheap. It's still a company. It's either going to fucking die or it's going to rip and something happens, maybe a buyout offer, anything. So there's that. And that's probably going to be a company. I'm going to go look at their filings after this just because I want to research, see where they're at, see if there's any movement, insider buys and sells, all that type of stuff. Form Factor, another one of those. That one's kind of like Mindbody, but I would look at them again, and especially when you see them in these like ranges, it's just kind of seeing if there's an option in time. Again, this is just gambling. You're making it's an earnings gamble, risk reward, and as you see, I'm going over so many plays. If you play all of these, you might hit one. But as you see, if you really fuck up and you make the bad options, you could lose a lot of money. It's easy to just burn your money trying to go after these. Then you miss a couple, and then that's it. Let's see. Habit. They're just a burger restaurant. I think they could go up. Actually, they've actually had history's gap. I just don't like them, so I don't really like to play them that much. Herbalife. They're not really a good earnings company, but they're just one that has all sorts of stuff. 51 Jobs. I believe this is a Chinese company, so they could be interesting. And again, this could even be a secondary play through Baidu. The couple days before that, Massimo. This company is a pharmaceutical company, biotech, pharmaceutical, whatever you want to call them. Their earnings and earnings growth are crazy. I like them. I would look at them if there's cheap options. Definitely. I'm more for the call side. They had a disappointing earnings last time, and they've kind of been just trailing in this range since. But I think if they get back to they surprised Wall Street. They were a Wall Street favorite for some time. I like them a lot. Quavo, like Migos. No, Ferrari, yo, this is one that actually always surprises. They've gone up a lot. They've done good. This is the first time it's kind of showing some instability there, but it could be interesting. I remember they had a big earnings beat not too long ago, I think in May, just last month. So I'd take a look at them. That just see if there's cheap options again. Storm Ruger, the gun company, they could probably get killed, honestly, and look towards the put site. Again, not too long ago we had Smith and Wesson go out of business and stuff like that. So take a look at them. I like Rewalk as a company, but here's Rubicon. I forgot what they do, but so I wanted to get into that. Sprint, I'm not too big of a fan of the telecoms and how to play them. It's cheap. It's had buyout rumors. Maybe if you got a strong stomach, you could play that. SodaStream, they got bought out, I'm pretty sure, right? No? Wow. Interesting. Strata Systems, they've, no, I'm confusing with something else. Stamps. This is a big mover. People don't expect it. It's high here. I'm actually going to look at some of these options, see if they're cheap, but Stamps could, believe it or not, be a crazy mover. Again, these are one of those small companies people overlook a lot of times. So that's my gift to you if you paid attention thus far. Um, TiVo, dude, TiVo still exists. That might be a good just put, man. Look at this. I don't even know that exists. Amazon package. TripAdvisor, I think Expedia did good. I don't even know how they make money, so I'm not even gonna get on that level. Tesla, if you could get in early to this one enough, maybe, but the premiums are already just sky high. But earnings is on Wednesday, so factor that in if you get your August calls, and you might just want to even just sell those coming into earnings. I think people will just go crazy on the puts for that. Oh, win. They're usually a big earning. Options are expensive. They actually look really interesting. They're holding here. I might even look into those for some puts actually. Just seeing how it's kind of holding there downstream, kind of came up. They've had those issues not too long ago when the CEO left and all that stuff. So I'd look into that. United Steel, they're going to be a big mover, especially with everything going on internationally. China, all that. I don't again, I'm just saying what I'm saying off the top of my head, so please don't hold it against me. Yum has the chance to move because this is Yum China, and then Zynga, the game maker, they're kind of like Glue Mobile, but again, cheap. You might not want to waste your time. Lastly, Saturday, we're not going to go over Friday just because Friday earnings suck. Aetna might move. I'm gonna try to go over this quick so you guys see. I might miss some if I go too fast. Activision, that's going to be an interesting one. Boha, surprising. Oh, Berkshire. Oh, wow, Berkshire. Surprised. Bojangles, they're a restaurant company. You could pay attention to that. Berkshire, this is just going to be interesting for the economy in general. So Thursday might be time to look at SPX puts. Or even Friday morning, depending on what happens here. And again, I totally even forgot to say this in the beginning. This is going to be an action-packed week filled with earnings and economic news. So be on the lookout for that. Clorox, a very stable company, but usually I'm surprised they've actually been doing like this. That might be interesting, but probably not going to move. Data, Tableau, they have the potential to really shock and move. They used to have big gaps. They had gaps down. They kind of came back up. So it's interesting to see. They could have a gap up if they've actually increased their performance. They died in 2016. CoPro, awful company. Again, they're at this level. They're either going to go out of business or might do something good. But again, they stopped kind of having these earnings surprises, so you never really know. But they could if this is a company just like Fitbit, big name, lots of assets, lots of value. They could get bought out, or they could. Who knows what could happen? Really, honestly. Did I miss Galapagos? Actually, they move a lot, but I don't know about earnings. Regen. I might want to play these coming into it. And again, this is a big pharmaceutical company. They might move. It seems like they've been doing pretty good, surprisingly, the last few months, even though the downtrend. But be careful. It's going to be expensive. Regen, if you can find cheap ones, you might maybe the day before or the day of earnings and after, if you don't want to kind of get in the middle of any of that. Tesoro, this one could definitely move. Oh my gosh, and it's just been dying. Yeah, this could be either one for the puts or the calls. Maybe just death, straight death. Take Two, I would definitely look at. Any of the video game companies always move. Wayfair, surprisingly, this stock kills it. but I think some people have put theses on it. Wingstop, I just love Wingstop as food and just a franchise in general. And I think that's about it. Yeah, Yum Brands, they used to move a lot, but actually they look kind of at an interesting spot. They haven't gapped in a while, so I'll leave it at that. I'll try to chop this video up, make it faster for you guys. But even then, hopefully you guys see now. And the whole point of this, you guys see how broadly I went over it. Go look through some of those companies. If any catch your eye, you guys got to see them here on the chart. I give you my thoughts on which ones I like, which ones usually stick out to me. Go through the option chain, come into the chat, ask me a question on it, and I'll gladly interpret it. You guys help me do my work for me, give me some ideas. Jump on this now and start preparing now for the rest of the week for earnings, but bring it into your paper trades and go through on your paper trades so you could start planning ahead. That's just the number one advice I could give, and hopefully you guys see that you know anything could happen with these, and you want to be very, very careful at the end of the day. And what I really want you guys to see is, for you guys starting out, or you have been trading any level really, you guys are getting ideas now, and you're like, well, if you don't want us to play it, why are you doing this? So you could paper trade, and now you guys have trade ideas. You could go look at companies, start looking into them. I already have backgrounds. You guys saw the companies I like. I could usually explain them to you and give you guys some decent insight. So you see what I'm saying? Go look into them and see why, and try to understand them. And best part is, you understand them once. When earnings comes around next 3 months, next year, next 2 years, you're gonna understand it. Think about how long you've seen the TTF alive for. Imagine every single earnings season. I've already looked at all these. So it's just get your time and experience in the market and start studying now and understanding. Hopefully those trade ideas help you out. So love you guys. If this helped, subscribe, drop a comment, drop a like, and I'll see you in the chat.